Are up for August 2023 Zodiac reading. We're getting this in under the gun. July 31st. This is going to be right on time for August, which is tomorrow. Today is Monday. Tomorrow is Tuesday. I will be getting all of the remaining Zodiac signs done today. So Leo, Cancer, Gemini, Taurus, Aries, you are up. We'll be banging these out today, probably into the night, but rest assured, before it is August 1st, these will all be out. I've pointed out in the Patreon, if you saw it there, each Zodiac reading will come with a specific Zodiac hemi-sync track. It's not for the Zodiac, it's for your sign. I'm picking out a hemi-sync audio file to attach based on the themes of your astrology and the reading that takes place. So look out for those. I said it in the Patreon, but go ahead and download the Vox, V-O-X, player app for your iPhone. It allows you to play .flac files, uncompressed audio files. I apologize, I'm a little stuffed up. I went pretty hard Saturday night. Had a good old-fashioned fun night, as we call them, which is harder to do these days with 3 children and 1 2-year-old who is part of the 3 children. But Leo, it's Leo season. It ends the 23rd of August, but it's still Leo season now. You got some fun stuff. It's energy for you this month. Now, there's a lot of astrological goings-on this month. We got Mercury retrograding right as Virgo season starts. We got Venus retrograding for a large portion of the month. Uranus starts a 5-month retrograde in the middle of the month. So there's a lot of energy. It's a lot of revision, looking at stuff, what has happened. And that's just the natural flow of things for this month. But what I will say is your natural characteristics of confidence, courage, loving the spotlight, really being kind of like out there, having fun, energized. It's a perfect balance for all the stuff that's happening this month. Now, in the later portion of the month, we'll get into the specific dates. There is going to be a kind of a slowdown period for you. Just remember this, Leo, while you are this lion of power and confidence and courage, you're also a cat. And what do cats like to do? They like their alone time. They like their time to sleep, to take care of themselves, to groom, to just chill out alone. So please honor that. So I would describe the first 2/3 of this month as like get out there, have some fun, expand your social circles, meet, if you've met people recently, strengthen those bonds. It's likely to happen whether you want it to or not, and hopefully you want it to. But then the last third of the month is going to be really about like self-care, prioritizing yourself, getting enough sleep, getting enough rest. You have also, like I said, Mercury retrograde happens on the 23rd. Like, you don't be making a ton of plans. That's just going to complicate things, create chaos. And if you do find that chaotic or complex energy coming in, just recognize, especially this time of year, it's very temporary. It's very fleeting. So you don't have to feel as though this is some permanent change and it's going to shift the energy into this kind of like, oh no, type of vibe. It's actually going to be pretty chill throughout the year, but you just kind of have to like go with the punches, flow, go with the ebbs and the flows, and you'll be a-okay. But let's talk about some specific astrology. Okay, so romance is highlighted for you Leo suns. A reminder, these readings are for Leo suns, moons, rising, and Venus placements. Please check your chart to see where all of those may fall, but you probably know if you're a Leo sun. And if you're a Leo sun, the full moon, which starts on August 1st, is in Aquarius, and it's in your 7th house, the house of partnerships and one-to-one relationships. So this full moon is probably a big culmination of terms of your romantic partnerships, meaning if you are in one, if you're in an intimate relationship, this is a great night to kind of like spend some time together, get all lovey-dovey, get all romantic, really kind of like pal around with your best bud, friend, lover. It's going to be a nice thing. You could even do some sex stuff, sex toys, things like that. It's a really nice month to kind of explore the carnal world. Just get all animalistic up in there. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you don't have a romantic partner or an intimate partner, it's also a great time to really strengthen any friendships that have just started, right? So people you may have met during the summer or maybe towards the end of the spring, this is a really good time to increase those bonds and really like get shit going, kick it into the next gear. It's just a good time for all one-to-one relationships right as the month kicks off, setting you up for this very energetic and powerful and really just like a month of fun for you guys. Like that's pretty cool, Leo. Like you're going to have a good time. Other sign of a seventh house, or no, Juno is moving into your seventh house August 15th. This is like another really good sign. That's the star of commitment, asteroid of commitment. And this is just another way to kind of focus and show that you really have the power to strengthen bonds with people in your life who you care about. Even if they're new, even if they're like kind of a new thing that's just started out, it's a really good time to kind of increase those bonds and strings between you in a good way. Okay. Now, these weeks in the first 2-3 weeks of the month of August, it's also just like this is your feel good time. This is like it's still Leo season. Like it's fucking fun. Your birthday may be coming up if it already hasn't happened. That's usually how birthday works. If it hasn't happened, it will be happening. And this is like earthly pleasures, right? We're thinking like snacks and fun stuff. Again, you could go back to those sex toys. You could think of things that are just related to like feeling good, right? And Leo rules the fifth house, which is the house of pleasure, entertainment, still kind of forging along, and you have all this extra energy coming your way. So the new moon kicks off on August 16th. Now you want to make sure that this is the time to really start prioritizing yourself. You could go carefree, fun, take risks, have a lot of stuff. When that 16th comes around and that new moon comes and you're supposed to be kind of coming up with the blue moon comes at the end of the month on August 30th in Pisces, this is a good time to start setting goals related to self-care and commitments and organization, kind of like planning for your like good, like planning for stuff that's going to feel good for you in a way that like pays off over the next 2 weeks. And that's August 16th. That's when that new moon is. And so just like get ready to start shifting into the mode. You still got like the fun time energy flowing for another week, but start shifting into some like planning and organization for self-care over the last week of August. Hey, it's also really not a bad idea to focus on self-care as Virgo season kicks off right then a week later, because you have Mercury retrograde starting right then too. So you really want to be able to miscommunications or delays or kind of detours. That's just usually what Mercury RX has for us, but also a lot of review in the realm of communication. How have you been communicating with people? How has that been working out for you? Have you been getting what you want? Is there reciprocity in communication? Are you feeling like relationships are strong and you're able to like express yourself in a way that feels authentic? It's a good time to start really reflecting on those things and see maybe where you can tighten up and maybe where your fun time, super fun time energy into that last third of August. Peace and balance are kind of your focus. That's where you want to be setting your priorities. That's where you want to be setting your balance, and like your goals should be themed around peace and balance, right? And that's inner peace and just balance within all aspects of your life. That's where the themes shift to. So please go ahead and do that. Communication, again, really needs to be transparent and just like clear. You want to really take the time to be clear when you're saying something to someone, that they understand you and that you're making your needs, boundaries, whatever you're expressing, very coherent, very like no way someone could misinterpret what you're saying. Okay. Now here's a big thing that happens on August 28th, right at the end of the month there. Uranus starts to go retrograde. Okay, Uranus is a big planet. It's a planet that has to do with Tao, gets to the final expression of a theme. It flips into the next thing. That's what Uranus is doing. So it's going to be retrograding. You know, it doesn't move that quickly, but it is going to be going backwards, or seemingly appear to go backwards. And you're going to want to check where your Uranus placements are in your chart, just to see which houses they fall in and what themes and kind of areas you can expect Uranus to kind of like change things about. Change, again, doesn't mean like bad stuff. It just means it's going to be different. And so getting prepared for the idea of what's going to be different will serve you quite well. And that's going to be about a 5-month-long process. So, you know, it's going to be some energy you're going to be sitting in basically through the end of the year into the new year, 2024. So expect some shakeups is what I'm saying. Don't be surprised this month if you get closer to some new friends or even acquaintances. If those bonds just seem to naturally form and strengthen, that's to be expected. There's a lot of energy there, just kind of moving you into new friendships, partnerships, even relationships. Could be business relationships too, but probably more in the social realm. Again, it's just like the whole priority of this month for you is feeling good. Even when you're focusing on self-care, that's for your own good, to feel good. And this is really, as the full moon happens on Pisces on August 30th, that's the theme, right? Feeling good. Like that is like what do you need to do to feel the best you can about yourself? That's really your goal and target. Make your desires, if possible, to, be in that realm. You're going to have the power and energy this month to get shit, superpowers. And, if you do feel kind of yourself getting down or maybe a little flummoxed by the energy that's happening in the latter half of the month, the latter third of the month, just know that you have the power and enthusiasm to get through this stuff, right? Face challenges with that enthusiasm, unwavering enthusiasm even, and you're going to be sure to like triumph and come through those times like in the right state of mind. It's not going to be something. And just intimate partners, those have been, because there may be some major reviewing and kind of cyclically. So don't get kind of like thrown off by that, but do just try to get the insight and like what is trying to be shown to you. What can you grow and transform through when those themes in your relationship are kind of being shown to you again? That's the function. It's not to like show there's something fundamentally wrong and you need to ditch it and it's no good. It's just to show you that like, okay, there's something here, maybe pay attention to it so you can see how to course correct if that's what's needed. So divine harmony is going to be restored one way or the other this month for you. If you keep it to that plan of first 2/3 fun, feeling good, really great, and then last third self-care, taking care of yourself, planning, organization for ways that you can increase your self-care, you're going to have a hunky-dory month, really. There's not a lot of kind of, like, despite all these planets going retrograde and, like, a lot of funky stuff going on, you're kind of going to, like, just go right through it in, like, a really good state of mind. So you can expect that. Set new goals and start fresh, right? That's in the middle of the month with the new moon. That's, again, related around themes of self-care. That's just going to be the area you want to focus in to feel the best that you can. And then let your confidence and charisma shine this month. Like, people love to see it. People like Leos when they're in their element. No one likes a Leo who's reserved and, like, doesn't know if they can do it. You just, like, you're like, I can do this shit. I'm a fucking Leo. I'm a star. I'm in the spotlight. I love this stuff. And then just try to be more generous and giving this month too. You're going to have the energy and the capacity to express that to people. They will really appreciate that, especially some of these signs I've already covered have some really gnarly energy sometimes going on this month. You know, they would really appreciate your generosity and your giving. Hey, Plant Alpha, happy Monday. The crystals I've chosen there, they do have meaning. I'll go over that at some point, maybe in a later reading. If we Leo, I feel like we're probably going to be jam-packed with stuff. So maybe when there's less energy going around for one of these other signs, I can take the time to go into those stones, or I can just do it on the regular live stream. Just want to make sure I'm focusing on my signs. Okay. Let's get into the cards, right? We're starting here with the 8 of Cups reversed, the Star, very appropriate for you, Leo, and then the Queen of Swords reversed. You know, I had it so we could kind of see the bottoms, but then that wasn't working. I'm not sure what happened. Anyway, 8 of Cups, right? This is the sign, this is the card of, like, you've really been involved with something emotionally. And you've really given it your all to get to the bottom of that energy, to put in your time, to really just like get to what it is you've been trying to solve or deal with. And this could be an internal issue dealing with emotions, or this could be in regard to an emotional situation you have with an other. It could even be an emotional situation you have with your job or your career, but it is something you've been dealing with. And what this card is telling you is like, you know what? You've put in your all. You've put in, you see the moon there, right? The moon there. We got the full and the crescent moon. And so like you've been through the cycles with this. You know, you've spent some time with this. This is probably something you've been dealing with for over a month. And it's time to pack it up and kind of let that energy go. This is not giving it one more chance. Sometimes when we see this card upright, it's like, okay, maybe you'll give it one more chance. But when we see it reverse, it's just like, no, it's time. It's time to keep it moving. Like you gotta you can't just waste your energy pouring it into something where you're not getting that reciprocity or you're not getting the resolution that you need. Especially for you, Leo, it's just not healthy to stay in that vibe for an extended period of time. Your emotions should be feeding you. They're not there to pull you down and make you feel bad. They should be making you feel good and positive and like you're in tune with the situation that's going on. And one of the things that comes with when we're in tune is our ability to discern what's right and what's wrong. right? For us, for our situations, for the people who are around us. And the star is this like pleasure, feeling good energy, ascendant. It's one of the ascendants and the luminaries in the tarot. This is just that like forging ahead, rising high, getting to the goals that we have set for ourselves. There's also an inherent element of balance, with one foot on those intuitive emotional waters and one knee and foot on the ground, kind of keeping us tethered to the world, not flying off into space. But this card bodes well for you. It basically means that, like, listen, when you leave this emotional situation, you're doing it so you can rise higher, so you can get to your goals. You can feel your life kind of coming back in a way that feels important for you and meaningful. And sometimes we have to let emotions go and emotional situations go that no longer serve us. And the Queen of Swords here is just reminding us that, yes, when you let emotions go, you do gain the aspect of clarity, and kind of there's these wisdom elements, and you might feel lighter on the mind and just more time to think about the things that are actually important to you. But you don't want to do this unemotionally. You don't want to be like kind of cold-hearted about it. The goal isn't to leave an emotional situation so you can cut ties with it and then never have to feel again. So try to make sure that as you're cutting ties with, maybe it's difficult to do, right, Leo? Like you're moving on from an emotionally taxing situation. You kind of just want to be bing, bang, boom, done with it. And I get that. But on the other hand, you do have to kind of recognize there's emotion still there. There's an emotional effect on you and another when you are cutting ties with this, whether that's the end of a relationship or just creating more distance or space in relationship. Don't detach yourself from the emotional impact that will have. It's just trying to straighten out that situation that maybe has been weighing on you or has been taxing. That's what you're trying to leave, not just cutting yourself off from all emotions. That's certainly not the goal and what you want to be doing. Okay. Death reversed, the World, and the Fool. Okay. So Death reversed, this is like, if I were to guess, this is that Uranus retrograde that's taking place. We're talking about change. We're talking about transformation. We're talking about some potential upheaval. Right? And sometimes when we feel that energy coming in, it can start to feel a little bit scary or foreboding. I've actually noticed in my own life that when there is big change coming, I may actually start to get a preoccupation with death and mortality, sometimes for myself, sometimes for loved ones. You know, oh my God, they're gonna die, or I hope people don't die. Like when you have kids, you don't want your kids to die, right? And sometimes that's something you're thinking about all the time, and sometimes it's totally not in your mind and everything is peaceful. But I found that when a big change is coming into our lives, sometimes we can kind of take that energy and kind of place it in the realm of actual physical mortal death, because it's somehow easier for us to think about those things than just like psychic changes or emotional changes, psychological. It's not always a straight path of insight into what changes will be taking place. So we misappropriate kind of where the realm is, and we go to physical death, and we're like, oh no, I hope I don't get cancer and die, or I hope my mom or my dad don't die, or my kids don't die. And like, you know, you might find yourself kind of dwelling in those themes. It's not that, like 99 times out of 100, it is not like a theme of physical mortal death. Right? Even if it may even be something in that realm, it's usually not a sign you are going to die. But with the reversal, it shows that there is some kind of uneasiness and potential resistance to that change that is inevitably coming. The good news is that change is actually there to set us up for like a deeper, broader, more empathetic experience in the world, right? Really getting into, like, it's almost like stepping through a portal. That's what we see in the World card, right? We see this person, this angelic being with two wands in either hands, the Ouroboros with the two ties on up and north-south axis, right? We see these kind of like almost entering into a new world. And when we see that partnered with the Fool, we know that's kind of the decision to jump off that cliff, to just trust, fall into the void and know that when we make that leap of faith, we will be supported. Maybe we'll be falling, but we're good to go. It's going to be a soft landing. We're going to end up in some wonderful dimension that feels good and feels different. And that's what we crave a lot in life, is different experiences. We don't really love static experiences. Even if we find them to be comfortable and secure, we do crave new things. If there's something that can be said for this realm, this earthly realm, it's a constant state of flux and change, and newness is just kind of the name of the game. Now, our relationship with how we find and approach new things is maybe how our experience feels, right? If we resist and kind of clam up and fight change, it creates a tension that can feel quite unnerving and really kind of repress or restrict our ability to move through situations in a peaceful state of mind. Remember, peace and balance are like themes that are very big for you this month, Leo. So, you want to kind of keep your headspace and mindset into those realms, right? But peace and balance. So a new kind of chapter is going to be opening up a really radically different realm. And I think that's what this Uranus retrograde is going to be pointing to. So again, I recommend looking where Uranus falls in your chart. Which house, which sign is Uranus retrograding in starting this month in August, because those themes, those areas of your life are likely to experience kind of a dramatic change, a kind of upheaval. So, you just have to really understand that it's not a bad change. It's just there is change there. And that change starts with a reviewing of what is going on. So again, look and find where Uranus is, both house and sign, in your chart, just to get an idea of where that change may be showing up. And yes, you may have some resistance to it up front, but that is only to get you to a new and exciting chapter in your life. It is not because something bad is going to happen or there's going to be some crushing defeat or blow that restricts your ability to move through the world. So just don't think of it like that, because that's not what it is. That relation detachment bit, glossy crimson, yeah, it is happening. I feel you. And then Lionsgate, yes, of course, everyone knows the Lionsgate is in August. This is a big portal. We talk about the portal here, Leo, so how could it not show up in that in the little Leo reading? It's a big energy that has a lot to do with kind of stepping into new chapters of our lives, shifting dimensions, shifting timelines, whatever theme you would like to kind of bring up. I was saving the Lionsgate for some of the other themes, but thank you for bringing it up. It's very applicable for Leo, obviously. Yes, and keep your headset on, gamers. Exactly. So let's look at some animal oracles, since we've been talking about animals. But Leo, like I said, it is a good month for you, right? Whether you've already had your birthday and you had that major change in your solar return, or it's about to come up, or it's very soon, close to today. We love that. It feels good. Leo really thrives, right, when the spotlight is on you, when it's your birthday. You like that. You enjoy it. Some signs kind of shy away from it. Leo, you probably don't. You probably like it, even if you're like, no, I don't like it. You do. Giraffe spirit, see the big picture. That's really what a lot of this energy is about. It is to show you the complete kind of full gamut of energy that is coming your way. Oh, we love this one. Whale spirit. Trust the great mystery. And that's what I'm talking about with this change, right? Whether it's Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, Uranus retrograde, it's just change. It's reviewing. It's seeing what's going on, but you can trust the process, right? The great mystery that's taking place is for your benefit. It's not to hinder or harness or complicate or frustrate you. Yes, it can do all of those things at times, although I don't expect that to be the dominant theme of this month, August, for you, Leo. Like I said, any kind of feelings of uneasiness or chaos or whatever may come, very temporary, very fleeting. We're talking about the maximum period you may be dealing with that is 3 days. That would be the upper bounds of where you would be experiencing kind of frustration or not. But it's just a matter of going with the flow and kind of just moving with that energy. And if that happens towards the end of the month, remember, listen, stuff is retrograding. Really pay attention to self-care. Sleep in. Eat some yummy food. Relax. Do not think you're being lazy, right? Lazy lion is allowed. You're allowed to be lazy. Don't let it turn into, oh, I'm not doing enough. There's that drive with Leo that you guys experience that really like pushes you forward and helps you kind of generate power and energy. But then I know there can be that distinct feeling of like, oh, well, maybe I'm not doing enough. Like, but you do need to take breaks. You do need to just like lounge out and just chill the fuck out sometimes. So try not to beat yourself up if you feel that energy kind of like waning. It's not even waning, but it's like if it shifts into a mode of more restfulness, like that's very important to acknowledge and honor that rather than be like, no, I got to keep going. I got to keep going. I got to keep going. You have plenty of time to keep going. No one is going to tell you you're not going to keep going, but also you got to like sleep it off sometimes. And the latter half of the month, the latter third of the month particularly, is a really good time to do that. Yeah, you can do that. You got it. You got it. And then elephant spirit. Yes, yes. Wow, so point on. Learn from the past. And like with this retrograde energy, that's your only mission, right? When you're reviewing stuff, it's your only mission is to be reviewing things. It's not to feel the crushing burden of things that you've done wrong or haven't panned out the way you wanted them to do. No, you learn from them. You grow from them. You do the stuff that you need to do to get to glean the wisdom and kind of just energy that is meant for your growth and transformation so you can learn and grow through things, not so you can be like, oh boy, I wish I wouldn't have done that. No, that's not your vibe, Leo. It's not really what this is for at all. So make sure you're seeing the big picture, you're trusting the great mystery, and you are learning from your past. That's going to be an essential kind of reflective goal you should set for yourself, especially, like I said, that last third of the month, Virgo season, when that kicks off. And it is no longer Leo season. Oh, how sad. But you know, Virgo season also brings in a lot of order, a lot of kind of paying attention to the particulars and the minutia of what is going on. Just don't let that kind of turn into that type of stuff. The stuff we don't want. We don't want that stuff, Leo. This is supposed to be a fun month for you, not a month of chaos and suffering and thinking about scary things. It's not really about that at all. So don't let it turn into that. All right, let's pull some threads of fate. Yeah, it's a good month. Just indulge in matters of pleasure. What else could you want during your Leo season? You know, there's some readings for different zodiac signs where it's really not about that. It's really about putting in the work and really getting to the bottom of some heavy issues. Leo, you got the lightness, right? And the lion sleeps tonight. Play that song for yourself. A wee moe, that one. Yeah, that's what you're going to do. You're going to sleep tonight in the jungle. Male lions don't even do the hunting. It's all the women. It's all the lady lions. The males just sit back and fucking eat and fight. It's really all they do, and sleep. They're just lazy lions. The women are out there putting the hard work. Think about that. Think about that in terms of the feminine and masculine divine energy that represents all of us. Think about where that falls into, because a lot of times we think of masculine energy, it's like, I'm going to go. The feminine energy is actually what dominates the actual care and well-being of the pack. So it's interesting when we think about kind of certain masculine energies, you know, and there's a big kind of schism that we can trace back to, you know, a few thousand years ago, a little bit more, where a lot of principles of femininity, divine feminism, and divine masculine energy kind of got flipped a little bit, right? With the Osiris myths, the solar myths. There was a big shift. Like the moon actually used to be represented with the masculine, right? And then at one point it just became clearly transposed to the feminine, right? Whether that's because of menstrual cycles or just these things happen. But if you look back etymologically, is that a word? You can see these themes tend to shift over time, and that should give you some insight into the fluidity of energy over time. Anyway, it's not these fixed, hard, sticky themes that are permanently associated with one or the other. It's not quite so binary. Do male lions protect the pride? Yeah, male lions protect the pride from what would be considered like other intruders, right? Like, so if another, really, since they're the kings of the ecosystem, they're like the alpha predator in most cases. The only protection would be from other male lions. But you could also look at that like that's just kind of a constant battle that's going on, and for supremacy. So if a male lion who's bigger, stronger from outside of the pack or the pride come in, that's a war now between those two alphas. And if the coming in one succeeds, unfortunately, what happens is they usually go and kill all the younger males and the babies to dominate supremacy. So yes, they do protect the pride from the biggest threat, which is other lions. But in terms of like the hunting and like the providing, that's all the women. They do all of that. You will never see a male go and kill food. You're just going to see the women out there fighting and hunting for the actual resources that allow the pride to survive. But yes, the males are the alphas and they protect, but it is a very brutal game. It's a very serious job. I don't want to diminish the importance of the male lion, but it is definitely like some serious stuff. Like, you don't want to fail in beating that other lion who's coming in, because it gets pretty brutal. And like, unfortunately, that's just the way it is. The women then become kind of like, that's their man now. It sucks. They killed their babies and stuff, but it's the way it be. Versatility. We got a good old cannabis sign with the rat. So yeah, it's a good month to tap into your many skills. Let that shine through. Could also be an explicit message that maybe some weed or cannabis is totally okay. That's something that can make us feel good. Ain't nothing wrong with that. The wildling, very appropriate here for you, Leo, right? Get in touch with your primal self. It's a really good time. The first time I would suggest really getting in touch with that primal kind of that will be this full moon coming up tomorrow, August 1st. It's going to be a good one. Do that, especially in bed. You feel me? Get a little wild. We like a little wildness. Want to get that energy moving. It's a good time. And there we go. Sacred destruction. And that's where some of these themes maybe come in that make you feel a little bit uneasy, right? Because sometimes we do need to let things go. We need them to actively be destroyed for something new and fresh to come about, right? And that's sometimes not the easiest thing to do. We don't always want to destroy stuff in our lives, but sometimes, and it's just, again, it is a feminine principle of destruction. It's just that Kali vibe, right? That Hindu goddess of destruction. It's a necessary energy, and you should embrace it and recognize it is sacred. It's not something that's gone amiss or awry and, you fucked up, so it must be destroyed. It's just like, no. Sometimes there are aspects of ourselves that we actively destroy, that are no longer or maybe never helped us. And then we become aware of them and we go, well, why am I still doing this? Why is this? I don't want to do this anymore. It's not something that's interesting to me. And be confident that you are allowed to destroy those things. It's not just like destroy someone's life. It's like destroy some negative energy or some distortion that's holding you back, right? That's really what it's about. So again, versatility, the wildling, and sacred destruction. Really important themes. Let's pull a Nature's Whispers. These are very explicit oracle cards. I like these. I like when cards just are like, this is what it is. There's no interpretation really necessary. This is what's happening. And that's why oracle cards are pretty cool. They're not like, what's the hidden color alchemy behind this? Or what does this mean when it's reversed? It's like, no, this is what the fucking thing says. This is what you're getting. This is what you're doing. Yes. Amplify your positive emotions. You feel me? That's Leo season. That's your vibe. Should I move these stones another way? Meteorology. There we go. Look at that angelic being in the water and those ripples coming out. And that's what you're doing with your emotions. That's your emotional life. You should be amplifying, really getting in custody and giving you good. Why not let that kind of emanate out from you so you can share it with other people in your life who maybe can, really feel the juice? They may not be feeling the same way as you. They may not feeling as perky and courageous and upbeat as you are. So when you are in that state of kind of like, yo, I'm feeling pretty good, just like ramp it up, right? We sometimes I refer to these gratitude loops you can find yourself in where you're like, oh my God, I'm so grateful for this. I'm so grateful for that. And you just kind of get in this circular energetic amplification pattern of gratitude. That's a wonderful place to be in. I wish it was something that was a little more common in our lives. And if it is for you, wonderful. And I know there's certain periods where I am more tapped into that gratitude kind of loop. And sometimes I'll catch myself like, shit, I have not felt like that in months. But when you do catch yourself in that state, spiral it in on out. Spiral it out to just the physical space around you, the energetic space around you. When you listen to these hemisync things, I already know which one I'm going to be giving you, Leo. Just like try to like spin this energy out. It's very powerful when you can really like put out into the world feelings of gratitude and joy and harmony and peace and focus. It makes you feel good. Electric platypus, you say, I got stung by a bee. Is that relevant to this poll? Well, there wasn't wasp energy. It's saying there isn't stung. But one of the things that happens when you get stung by a bee is, it makes you pay attention. You can't ignore that. And so usually that type of energy is drawing your attention to something that's going on. So I would pay attention when you get stung by a bee or any bug for that matter. Where did you get stung? What part of psychically, or if it's near an organ, or if it's near just like if it's the hands, like each part of your body represents some theme. And that will absolutely kind of pull you towards what that theme is, because when any physical kind of danger and stuff like that, like you really want to be paying attention to where it happens, because it's usually a direct reflection of what is going on. So on your right wrist, right, this is your right side, left brain, talking masculine energy, analytic, logic. I'd be looking also, your wrist needs to be flexible to do things. So it could be dealing with themes of rigidness, especially in the realm of logic or analysis. Maybe you are too fixed in to a certain mind state, and this is just a reminder to be a little looser with it and kind of let in those other intuitive qualities come into decision making. Don't be too rigid or stubborn going into kind of certain themes or activities or areas of your life. I would say that's probably a pretty good place to start looking at. That's just how I interpret kind of physical ailments, whether it's bug bites or like sore this, sore that, or ooh, this hurts. Hey, Rubski, good morning. Welcome to the chat. So yeah, we'll pull one more card for this, and we're going to be wrapping it up. Try to do about 40 minutes for each sign. Like I said, I got 5 to do today. Up next will be Cancer, then Gemini, then Taurus, then Aries. So we'll do 4 more after Leo. Let's pull a last oracle. Let's go with the Threads of Fate. Get creative. And when you're dealing with this much energy, when you're dealing with this much positive kind of vibes coming through in the month of August, it's a wonderful time to express your creativity. If you haven't felt that connection, if you haven't felt that inspiration, don't be surprised if it kind of pumps back in during August. It's going to be something that when you get that burst of energy, when you get that burst of inspiration, go with it. And problem solving or figuring out a way to do something you normally do in a new and exciting way, just like let your mind go to places that it doesn't naturally go to, or doesn't normally go to, I should say, and see if there's some solutions or cool stuff you could be doing that you hadn't thought of, right? You had a pipe burst in your apartment yesterday and flood part of it. There's so much pipe bursting and flooding this year, right? It's crazy. The 2 dominant themes are fire and flooding. It's insane. Unfortunately, no damage to personal items, so focusing on what that all means in relation to the card pulls. Yeah, so flooding, really, like it's the emotional realm. I know a lot of people in my life have had flooding all over the place, so many different areas. It's really crazy. And when we talk about water, we're talking about unconscious energy. We're talking about feelings, emotions bubbling up to Ace of Cups card, especially when it's overturned, all the water flowing down and kind of creating this flood below us. So yeah, that's just, there's a good video of a small dog flooding some shit. There's just a lot of flooding stuff, a lot of fires, right? Affecting the air quality, the earth being affected. We got a lot of elemental stuff happening in 2023. And I assume that we'll continue a bit with climate change, but it's always interesting to pay attention So much flooding. We'll do one more Nature's Whispers. Why not? Inner Truths. Pay attention to how you feel inside. That's a latter third of the month type thing for you, Leo. I think that's when it's really going to be coming into focus, right when Virgo season hits. Right? So just you can take advantage of this energy, this creative time, this fun, energetic, pleasure-seeking time. Like, roll with it. Fucking roll with it. You know what I mean? I think you do. Okay. Yeah, people are going through it. There's a lot of stuff going on. Okay. So that's it for now. I will be back in about 45 minutes or so, I would guess, with Cancer. Cancer sign, not actual physical cancer. That would be weird if that happened. But then, if you want to tune in for that. And patrons, this will be up with the HemiSync recording. Download that Vox application for the iPhone so you can play FLAC files and make sure you listen with headphones. Those will be posted on the Patreon